Hi, Kitchen Kings and Queens. Okay, we are going to make stuffed crust pizza. So I weighed out 299 grams of flour, which is 2.5 cups. It's double zero flour. I also have 199 grams of warm water, which is a weird measurement. It's like 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons. That's why I decided to measure it by weight. I have uh, 1.5 teaspoons of active dry yeast, and I have 1 teaspoon of olive oil, and it's a generous teaspoon. This recipe is actually from the recipe for the dough, at least, is from King Arthur flour, and it uses their double zero, which is what I have. So that's pretty cool. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. So I told you about these dough hooks that I got. So I'm actually going to try this and see how this works. Okay, to make this dough. So the nice thing is, it kind of gives you the best of both worlds with um, like a stand mixer and also with that Oster Kitchen Center because it has a similar dough mixture, which is kind of similar to like an Italian spiral mixer. And because it's a hand mixer, you kind of have control over where you go with the dough mix. And I'm using it on the lowest setting. I think I could probably go up to 2, just so we can knead this a little bit more. Uh, and it's doing a great job. I really am. I mean, I had hoped it was going to do a good job, but I really didn't know if it would allow me to really get into there, and but it's doing a good job. Um, so I'm pleasantly surprised by that in a way that I thought I was going to be surprised, but you know, it's nice to have that surprise validated. Okay, so we're gonna just give it a little bit more kneading here. And the other thing I was a little concerned with was it would bang against the bottom of the uh, bowl and kind of ruin the bowl. But it actually is doing a really good job of not doing that because it's so intensely involved in the dough. So I'm gonna just okay. Well, that made light work of this. Okay, so there's our dough. It's all done. I'm gonna take it out now and just knead it a little bit just to kind of form it into a ball. And then we're gonna put it back in here. I'm gonna put some olive oil and grease it. And then we're just gonna let it rest. And I think I'm gonna make this pizza tomorrow. So I'm probably just gonna let it cold ferment in the refrigerator uh, overnight. Okay. But let me take this out and you can see the quality of the dough. I'm going to just get so this. I like to use the same bowl that I mixed it in. That way, you're not uh, using any more dishes, and there's all kinds of ways to say to do it, but that's how I like to do it. So I'm going to just put some olive oil in here, and I'm going to get out my What's in the other refrigerator? Or other thing here. I'm gonna get my dough scraper, and we're just gonna get it into a ball. We're gonna, very nice dough. Plop it in there that way, and plop it in upside down. Just flatten it out so it can rise, and that's it. So this was a really good. I really liked that mixer. I've never used a hand mixer to make dough, and those dough hooks really gave it a good ability. The dough was really smooth and well done, so that was great. So we're going to take some cling film here and just cover it. I don't know why this bowl, the cling film doesn't stick initially well to it. That's really kind of strange, but that's okay. We'll make it work. So we'll throw that in the refrigerator. We'll let that cold ferment. And all cold fermenting, that sounds like this really important involved technique. It's not. All it means is you take the dough and you put it in the refrigerator overnight, and it rises in the refrigerator, as opposed to if you left it out on the table and let it rise in a warm area. So that's all that cold fermenting is. So don't be intimidated by these terms. They're just mean throw it in the refrigerator overnight. That's all. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow and we'll make this stuffed crust pizza. Hi, Kitchen Kings and Queens. Okay, we're back. We got our dough. It's been cold resting here in the refrigerator. And we are going to take it now and we are going to spread it out on the pan. Okay, so I have this USA pan. That's the brand. Pizza pan here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stretch out the dough little by little. And we're actually going to stretch it over actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to roll this out. I think that's going to be actually a better way to do it. Okay, so you may also see all of this stuff I have all over the place. Where's my rolling pin? So it's been Thrift Palooza for my days off. So I went to Lancaster County with my parents, and then I went out yesterday with a friend of mine, Jim. You may have seen him in the tomato video. And we went to Boyertown. This dough is really soft, so I'm actually just going to kind of ease it. So we went to this really cool museum that was all about cars, and most of the cars were either made entirely or part of them were made in Pennsylvania. So it was a really cool museum. It was in Boyertown, Pennsylvania. And the other cool part was it was actually in a factory where a lot of the bodies of those cars were made. So for quite a while, that factory made car bodies up until like 1990. It went out of business. Um, so it was really cool that a lot of the cars were actually had history tied back to that factory. And if they didn't, they were usually nearby. There was a lot of car manufacturing in that area, um, especially like Reading and Fleetwood, which is like a town in that's like on the edge of Berks County uh, and Montgomery County, Boyertown. So it was a really cool museum. And then after that, we went to a little tavern and had lunch, and then we did some thrifting. So between Lancaster with my family and then doing a little thrifting with him, this this I haven't really had a chance to get anything really kind of put away. Okay, so we're gonna prepare our uh, pizza dough here. Okay, and I'm using polio. I used to work at a pizza shop, and I still go to this pizza shop all the time. It's my absolute favorite. And that pizza shop, it uses polio mozzarella for their as their cheese, and it really makes a difference. So we're going to use polio for the stuffed crust, and they don't have stuffed crust. It's a very traditional pizza shop, but they do use polio for uh, their regular pizza cheese. And then we're going to use uh, the remainder of the cheese that I have. And then I found Polio now has some uh, brands of cheese, like shredded cheese, that is pizza blend. So there's a grandma pie one and there's a New York style. So I'm going to use the New York style for this stuffed crust, and I'm going to make a grandma pie later on, another time. One of the other cool things is when I was out with my parents in Lancaster, we went to a grocery outlet. So you could see there's a lot of grocery stuff here. They had something I needed to make Detroit style pizza, which is a cheese called brick cheese. And brick cheese is really a Midwestern cheese, but they had it at BB's, which is like a discount grocery warehouse. And I was so excited. So I got that because I've been wanting to make Detroit style pizza too. I guess I'm kind of like on a pizza kick, which is good because as you may see from my forehead, I got ashes because it's the start of Lent. So I'm going to be eating a lot of pizza on the weekend or on Fridays. So it's, that's not a hard sell for me. I love pizza. But um, this way, I'll have some new pizzas to try. Okay, so we're just about done. I think like one more uh, stick here. And then to make sure it gets encased. Okay. Oh, you know what? You want to make sure we get it all the way around. And Palio is now part of Belgioioso, which is in Wisconsin. But they're in upstate New York, and they are really like an exceptionally good pizza cheese. It's very, very East Coast style pizza. Okay, so we're wetting this dough on the outside, and then we're gonna encapsulate the cheese on the inside. Okay, and we're gonna have to kind of pull it up over, and then uh, tuck it under. Okay, and while I'm doing that, I'm also kind of pulling back the dough because we want it to, we want to keep the size of this pan. Okay, so you know what? I think it might be easier if I do it this way and kind of brush the the water on the inside of this. Um, that way it could seal a little bit better. Okay, so again, we're just gonna, we want to make sure that these cheese sticks stay encapsulated. And this dough is very, it's just very sticky, um, which is good for it sticking here, but it's just a little challenging to work with. So if you have a ShopRite near you, ShopRite has these well, not all ShopRites, but because there's some ShopRites near me that did have this, and then there are other ones that didn't. Oh man, that's annoying. Okay. But ShopRites around me, there's a ShopRite uh, like a operator whose name is Brown, and the Brown ShopRites that are owned by Browns, they have uh, this cheese, these special ones. Okay. All right. Okay. So we're gonna take the sauce now and put that on there, and I want to get really, I want to kind of get the liquid off, and I want it to be more of the chunky tomato because the liquid will um, it'll not allow it to get really brown. Okay. Okay. So there's our pizza with the sauce, and now we're gonna put. I'm gonna start with the leftover mozzarella that I have, just to finish that off. And there's not a whole lot there, so we just have a little bit. And then I'm going to use the pizza blend. Okay. And that will give it just the right amount of flavor. It's the right mix of cheeses to make a really good pizza. And something interesting for East Coast pizza, usually there's a blend, and now they're actually selling it as East Coast pizza blend. It's half uh, whole milk mozzarella and half part skim mozzarella. So that's kind of an interesting thing if you're not used to making pizza on the East Coast. And that combination of cheeses is going to give you It's going to give you like a nice pull, but also like a nice flavor. Okay, so we're going to finish this off. And I think I'm gonna kind of gild the lily here. I think I'm gonna take a little bit of butter and I'm gonna melt it and just brush the crust with that and give it like a little extra flavor. We'll see how that comes out. Put a little garlic and a little um, parsley in there. Just give it. This is not a traditional East Coast pizza, so why not? So I'm gonna get some parsley, and I'm gonna get some garlic powder here, and that will be that. Parsley in there, some garlic, and I'm actually gonna get a little Parmesan cheese too. Put a little Parmesan. Just give it a little uh, exterior. Okay. Pop that in. It's just not quite melted. So do another 20 seconds. Our oven is preheated to the highest setting that it could be. So for my oven, that's like 550. Okay, so. Okay. I'm gonna mix up our butter here. Just give it a little. And hopefully that butter will just give it kind of like a little browning, a little flavor. Just make it a little extra special. And this is the thing, like, does this take an extra amount of time? Is this like unnecessary? Is it going to be delicious without it? Probably. But these little extra steps, they really help to make things good. Okay, so we're going to pop this into the oven now. Kings and queens, we're back. Our pizza was done. It only took like 10 minutes in the oven. So it came out really good. So we're going to take it off the pan so we can slice it. And then we'll put it back on the pan. Okay. I don't like to cut on the pans because it damages the pans. It could get metal in your cooking or in your pizza. So I like to cut them on a cutting board. And this cutting board, which I think I've shown you before, this is Epicurean pizza peel. So it works as both a pizza peel and a cutting board. So I really like this. It's a natural material and it just does a really good job. Okay, so bring our pan back over and we're gonna just push this back onto the pan. Okay, so our pizza cheese got really nice and brown. You got a nice thing on it. It's got a nice crust on the bottom. It's not like, again, it's not like a New York style pizza or anything. It's just like it's not like doughy, but it's not really hard. This pan, the USA pans, they're really great. Let me see if I could get you one here to show. These pans are so great to bake on because they're corrugated. Okay, so they have this corrugation. They have it's either glass or silicone non-stick coating, so it's not Teflon, but it works way better than that. It's similar to what is on those Lloyd's pans that I showed you before. Okay, so I hope you like this. I hope it is something you try. It looks really good to me, and I'm gonna see you later. Bye, Kitchen Kings and Queens.